Thanks for watching ERi-TV, dear viewers. Welcome to our news broadcast. First, a quick look at the major stories making headlines tonight. Southern Region Assembly carries out 20th regular meeting. Villages regrouped in Karkabet benefiting from water project. 4 troops injured as drones and rockets hit U.S.-run bases in Iraq. Peru declares state of emergency on highways as protests continue. In our domestic news, the Regional Assembly of the Southern Region held its 20th regular meeting on 7 April in Mendefera under the theme Always Ready for Eritrea's Integrity and Peace. Mr. Woldai Gebre, chairman of the Regional Assembly, stated that building strong national economy, ensuring social justice as well as guaranteeing national security and stability is the priority of priorities. He therefore called on the public to strengthen participation in national affairs. Mr. Woldai commended the training programs that the regional administration organized for members of the construction, development and internal revenue with a view to enable them provide efficient and timely service to the public, pointing out that strong effort has been exerted on agricultural infrastructure programs, construction development, potable water supply, as well as other social service provisions. Mr. Habta Abtesfatsian, governor of the region, called on members of the assembly to reinforce participation in order to develop educational facilities. Members of the assembly, on their part, conducted extensive discussion on the reports presented and adopted various recommendations that include strong measures to be enforced to abolish underage marriages, establish a regional museum, providing timely information to farmers and encourage them to apply crop rotation, as well as for conducting sustainable awareness-raising programs with a view to inspire the public, strengthen participation in controlling crimes, and ensure peace in their areas. Inhabitants regrouped in Agimite administrative area, Karkabet subzone, are living improved lives thanks to the water supply project put in place in the area. The residents said that they were compelled to travel long distance to fetch water for themselves and their livestock, and with putting in place of the solar-powered water project in their area, their problem has been alleviated. Sheikh Umar Suleiman, a village elder, said that inhabitants were not able to become beneficiaries of social services in the past due to their nomadic ways of life, and that with the installation of the water project, they are now able to receive educational and health benefits. Mr. Abdul Karim Idris, administrator of the subzone, on his part, said that the residents had serious problems with water for themselves and their livestock due to the semi-arid location of Agimite administrative area, and that the water project has significantly contributed in the regrouping of villages. Agimite administrative area is located 135 kilometers northwest of Karkabet subzone and is home to about 4,000 families. Mr. Abdullah Ibrahim, head of Harat Transportation Company in Zobagash Barka, said that the company is expanding transportation service in the region. So far, buses of the company are providing regular transportation service in Barantu Shambuko, Barantu Maidima, Barantu Shilalo, Agordat, Forto, Tasane, Hajar routes with more public transportation requests. Mr. Abdullah added. Mr. Abdullah also called on the public to strengthen participation in the maintenance of the roads for the sustainability of the transportation service. There are about 30 buses providing daily transportation service to the public in Zobagash Barka. That was our domestic news. Please stay tuned for the international right after the short break. Unmanned aerial vehicles have reportedly hit targets inside a major airbase in Iraq's western province of Anbar, which houses American military forces who are in the Arab country on alleged training and advisory missions. Citing a security source speaking on conditions of anonymity, the Arab League Al-Shumaria television network reported that 2 combat drones had hit targets inside the Ain al-Assad air base, located about 160 kilometers west of the capital Baghdad, earlier today. There were no immediate reports of damage or casualties. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack yet, which is the latest in a series of attacks targeting U.S. occupation forces over the past few months. 4 U.S. troops were injured on Thursday after rockets hit base housing American forces in Syrian eastern province of Deir al-Zawr. The rockets struck 2 support buildings at the Green Village base, which is run by the so-called Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, a U.S. allied Kurdish-led military group backed on January 28. Several rockets struck a major base at Baghdad International Airport, where American military forces and trainers are stationed. The U.S. military declared the end of its combat missions in Iraq in December of 2021, but resistance forces remain bent on expelling all American forces, including those who have stayed in the country, on the pretext of training Iraqi forces or playing an advisory role. Truckers and farm workers have blocked roads across Peru in anger over rising costs of food, fuel, and fertilizer. Peru has declared a 1-month state of emergency to allow the armed forces to surprise its highways, as the government of President Pedro Castillo tries to stem nationwide protests over rising fuels and food prices. Hundreds of truckers and farm workers have been blocking roads across the country for more than a week in anger over rising costs, which have spiked since the Russia-Ukraine situation began. The decree published in the official newspaper yesterday allows for the army to be deployed, clearing the blockades, while also suspending certain constitutional rights such as freedom of movement and assembly. Clashes between protesters and police in Ica, about 300 kilometers south of the capital Lima, left one farmer dead and 15 people injured, mostly police officers. The government has cut taxes on fuel, raised the minimum wage, and proposed exempting essential food items from sales tax. The episode marks the first time in Castillo's 8 months in power that he has faced a social protest movement. And that was our news for tonight, dear viewers. Please stay tuned for a recap of tonight's headlines. Southern Regional Assembly carries out 20th regular meeting. Villages regrouped in Kirkabet benefiting from water project. 4 troops injured as drones and rockets hit U.S.-run bases in Iraq. Peru declares state of emergency on highways as protests continue. It is good night from us.